Hello, and welcome to the Metaphysical Universe, where I would talk about all things spiritual and metaphysical and dive deep into all that good stuff. So, today I want to talk about energetic boundaries. Now, a lot of people are talking about energetic boundaries and how important it is to create good energetic boundaries, and also the importance of cutting cords. Okay, so yeah, this is actually something that's come up in my life recently because normally I don't really think too much about cutting cords, but we'll go into that in a minute. Let's talk about energetic boundaries first and what cord cutting even is so that everyone understands that and is on the same page. All right. So, energetic boundaries. Well, first of all, like I had mentioned before in previous recordings, we are energetic beings. Whether or not you're looking at your physical aspect of yourself, right? Your human physical experience. When we break that all down, it breaks down all the way to energy. Everything is made up of energy, right? But we're also energetic beings, right? We're soul beings. We're beings of light that are manifesting in this human physical experience. Okay. And so we have this varied experience, and mostly, we think we're just this human physical experience because this feels like our primary reality, right? Our senses are so intense that it's hard to think that there's anything else that exists other than our physical reality. But it does, and science is really beginning to prove these things. If you look at quantum physics and other things like that, we're really starting to see that there is more than our own physical reality here. Anyway, that being said, let's go into, energetic boundaries. Okay, well, with us being an energetic being, right? We have energetic senses, just like our physical body has physical senses. Our energetic body has energetic senses, and these are actually our psychic senses. So we have them all. Hello, people, we have them all because they're your senses. Okay. And with these senses, with these energetic senses, you're picking up information, energetic information, all the time, like all day long, just like you are with your physical senses, right? Your physical senses are telling you things all day long, and they're working together. They're working together. You don't just have like the sense of taste without the sense of smell or touch or whatever. Like, you're picking up a whole energetic experience, right? And you do this also with your energetic senses. You're picking up a whole energetic experience. So, how does this relate to energetic boundaries, right? Well, we don't want to constantly pick up, negative information. We don't want to be, the victim of that onslaught of other people's energetic information, and so we have to create, healthy energetic boundaries. We need to take care of ourselves energetically. And, just like when you take care of your physical body, right? You have a shower, you do all the things that you need to do to keep yourself your good hygiene, right? Your physical hygiene. Well, you need to have energetic hygiene too. You are bringing home all that energetic debris after your entire day, right? All that energy you've been picking up, all that energy people have been giving you, and all those things. And you come home and you hop into your bed, you hop into your house with all this other energy that doesn't belong to you, right? That you don't necessarily want to have with you, but there it is, and you're it's with you, right? So, energetic boundaries. It's important to be mindful of the energy that you're picking up so you can even know, like, how to deal with that energy and how to create energetic boundaries. Because if you don't even know, like, what your own energy feels like, your own energetic baseline. Like, what does my energy feel like at that baseline frequency? So getting to know yourself, your own energy, what that feels like. So then you know what it feels like when you're picking up other energy, right? You know what's going on. And then you know, well, I got to deal with this situation, right? Because suddenly I'm getting way more toxic energy than I can deal with, or people are just crapping, their energy on me because they've had a bad day, or whatever it is, right? And so, we're picking up this energy, and what do we do? So that's when we need the energetic boundaries, right? That's when we need to either communicate with these people, articulate, hey, this doesn't feel good when you're having a bad day and you're just crapping on me about your bad day. Like, I don't want to be the one that you crap on or whatever. But you can also do this in a loving, way. You got to let people know in a loving way, because most people don't know. I mean, like, we don't even know that we're doing it, right? Like, if we're doing it to someone else, we don't always know that we're doing it. We just know that we're feeling better because we're offloading that energy, right? We may be stressed. We may be having a bad day. Something may have happened that hurt our feelings or whatever. And then we're offloading that energy onto someone else, right? And so it's learning about having healthy, energetic relationships with people, right? Where you can communicate with that person like, hey, you know what? I had a really bad day, and, I really need to offload some of this negative energy. Would you be able to help me with this? Can we, you know, create an arrangement where you are consciously aware that I'm offloading this negative energy on you, and then you can consciously deal with that negative energy, by grounding it, wherever you need to do, right? Managing this energy, creating that conscious relationship with someone to do that, right? Instead of just doing it, right? I mean, you've heard of terms like energetic vampires too, right? And that's the opposite of offloading. That's essentially sucking up your energy. I mean, have you ever been around someone who's just like dogging and dogging about themselves, their lives, and all their things, and you never get a chance to talk at all? And by the end of the conversation, you're feeling wiped out. That's that energetic vampire. That's that person doesn't know. They don't know. Most likely they don't know that they're doing this. They don't know that they're treating you this way. They just know that they feel so much better when they're talking with you because they've done this and they've taken your energy. So you see, like, conversations and communications have a natural, like, give and take, like an ebb and flow, right? You can think of it like energetic ball, like if you're playing ball, right? And the conversation should go like this. It should be like, all right, I'm talking a little bit, so like I'm taking a little bit of energy from you and I'm feeling really good. And then I'm giving the ball back to you. I'm giving the energy ball back to you. You're getting the focus of energy. I'm giving you energy because I'm focusing on you. You're talking, then you ask me a question back, you're giving the ball back to me, right? It's got this ebb and flow, right? Where we're sharing energy, we're giving and taking energy so that we're both feeling uplifted, we're both feeling really good, right? And when that balance goes off, right? When someone's taking too much energy, or they're giving you too much of their energy, right? Neither of those things feel good. And so at that point, you need to create good energetic boundaries. You need to communicate with that person or persons, letting them know this situation doesn't feel good. Communicate in a healthy and loving way, because like I said, more than likely they have zero idea of what they're doing, and they probably have zero idea about that energetic relationship, right? So communicating in the way that they even understand what the frick you're talking about But yeah, right? So creating those boundaries, and then if they're unwilling to make those changes, like if they're constantly offloading on you or constantly taking your energy and they're unwilling to make those changes, then it's either up to you to kind of pull back and maybe not spend so much time with them, or if that's not an option, then just realizing like this is how this relationship is in my life, and then I have to choose how much time I'm going to spend with this person, because this is how this goes, right? And we can't always like choose the people in our life. There are some people that are just going to be there. So finding that healthy balance, but creating those energetic boundaries, communicating and creating a healthy relationship with those people in our life, those situations in our life, because we are responsible for our energy. Okay. We are responsible for our own energy, for how we respond to other people's energy, for the energy that we give to others and the energy that we take from others, that we need to be responsible about that energy give and take. Okay. And we need to just be really loving and kind to others who maybe don't understand that relationship and don't know that they're doing this. You know what I mean? And so this comes down to having healthy communication and, talking with them about these things, being loving and communicating. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's your energetic boundaries. But again, an energetic hygiene, super important, right? Because I'll have a whole other episode about energetic hygiene. I think that that's just a good idea, because there's a lot of information that I could be talking about with that. So, but suffice to say that energetic hygiene is super important, because like I said, you're picking up energy all day long. You may be picking up people's negative energy and all sorts of different things, and just being aware of how that relates to your boundaries, right? So, how does that feel? Can you feel that in that moment, that energetic shift of, your baseline, and how, wait a minute, now I feel different, right? Now I'm feeling more exhausted because somebody's pulling a lot of my energy, or I'm feeling yucky because they're crapping on me with their energy or whatever. And you see, you don't know to have good energetic boundaries until you pay attention to that energy, that give and take, right? And then you notice, whoa, wait a minute. Yeah, this doesn't feel so good. I need to create good energetic boundaries with this person, or in this situation, or when these things happen. So it really comes down to being aware of your energy and how you feel at any given point in any given situation or around any given person. But the only way that you can do that is by knowing what your baseline energy is. And in order to know what your baseline energy is, you really need to check in with yourself and feel your inner experience. I know that sounds funny, doesn't it? But feeling and being aware of what your inner reality feels like. Okay. And getting to know the real you, not the personality, not the this is who I pretend to be for everybody else, or all these made up like ego things, but the part of you that is in the here and the now, right? This part of you that's present, that is present awareness, right? And that awareness is something that you can feel and experience when you shut your eyes. Okay. And so shutting your eyes, going inward, and feeling you. Whatever that feels like, okay? And getting used to what that feels like, okay? What the you feels like on a normal day. And then checking in with yourself throughout the day, going inward. How am I feeling? How's my energy levels? Am I feeling off about something? And then the more you're aware of yourself, right? The more you're aware of that, then when you're in a situation or you're with a person or whatever, right? You can feel that shift. You can feel, well, maybe this feels really good, or maybe I really enjoy being around this person, and make sure that they're having that same response, because you don't want to be the person that's just sucking up their energy and then you're like, oh, I feel great, right? But it's because you sucked up all their energy. You don't want to be that person. But seeing that they're having that same response, like they're feeling good, they're feeling high, this feels great, I love this feeling, we're having a great time together. Yeah, that feels good, right? Then you know that that person is somebody that's going to create that balanced relationship with you. So you don't need to create any energetic boundaries with that person, because they're already honoring your boundaries, right? They're already doing it. It's just the people and the situations where you're not feeling that response and you're left feeling like, oh, I don't feel good. This doesn't feel good. I don't like being around this person. I don't like being in this situation. That's when you need to make that change. And that's when you need to create those boundaries and communicate, because, like I said, you are responsible for your energy. And if your energy is constantly getting drained day in and day out, then you are not going to have the same reserves of energy every single day. And your baseline of energy is going to get lower and lower to the point where you start getting sick and things like that. So you don't want that. You want to keep your baseline of energy, your frequency high, right? And keep feeding energy into it throughout the day and taking care of yourself and having good energetic hygiene and things like that. And so taking care of your energy, being mindful of who is pulling your energy, and having those intelligent, loving conversations with people about creating good, healthy boundaries. Now, let's talk about cord cutting. Let's get into this a little bit, because it's super important to think about the past relationships that we may have had that are not healthy, right? And then we're obsessively thinking about these people, right? We're obsessively connected to these people. And so what are cords in the first place? What are energetic cords? It seems like such a weird term. Let's really understand what this is, okay? So, like I said, we're energy, and we make energetic connections with people, right? We may meet someone and then we really like them, or we don't, or whatever. That's too, we can make any kind of cord. But when we connect with someone and communicate, and we're feeding that energy conversation back and forth, right? We're doing it through like that energetic cord. We make that connection. I know, right? Think of that terminology. When you're connecting with someone, you're actually making an energetic connection. So that word is like a valid word, right? And so, and cords aren't, by themselves like a bad thing. Like they get a bad rap, like, oh, you need to cut cords with people because, X, Y, and Z or whatever, cord cutting is such a thing. You don't need to cut all the cords in your life. A lot of cords are like really good and really important, and you're gonna remake them anyway. Okay, granted, every once in a while you might want to just like clean them up. We'll talk about that. But yeah, like your cords with your children, they're going to be there. Your cords with your parents are going to be there. Your cords with your partners are going to be there, because you're constantly cultivating that relationship, right? You're constantly connecting with them, constantly cultivating those relationships. But there are relationships that you want to let go of, right? Past relationships, toxic relationships, things like that, right? And so you will notice that because you're obsessively thinking about those things, right? Those in the toxic situations, those toxic people or whatever, and you just can't get out of it. Like I've got one in my life right now that like I'm just obsessing about. And it's driving me crazy. And it was interesting because like sometimes I just I don't always think to apply like my knowledge of these things, right? Like even though you teach these things, you just don't even think to do it, right? And so, like this morning, I was laying there and I'm obsessing about like this person and this situation. I'm just like, this is driving me crazy, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, cord cutting. Why don't I try this? And so, like, I visualize the cord being cut, and this is something that you want to know too. Like, you don't just want to cut the cord and just like then and good, yay, it's cut and that's all I needed to do. No, that's not it. You need to do something with those cord pieces because otherwise they're going to want to reattach. Right? So after you visualized cutting the cord, right, you reattach the cords into source energy. Okay, you don't just cut them. That's just not enough. You need to take their cord and your cord and cut them and put them individually back up into source energy so they're feeding into source energy where they should be feeding, right? So sometimes you have to do that a lot. Sometimes you have to do that, way more than you expect. But that's okay. That's okay. But I did it this morning, right? And it was really interesting because I went from a position of, oh my God, I'm totally obsessing. I'm totally thinking about this person or whatever. And then as soon as I cut the cord and like plugged it up into the universe like that, into source energy, immediately my awareness shifted from thinking about them and thinking about the situation to being in the here and the now, like being right here, right now, and being disconnected from that. And I was like, holy shit, it totally worked. Like, not that I don't already know that, but to just have that like validation again of like, oh yeah, these are some good tools and I got to remember to like use them too, like I forget about these things. And so I want to tell you, like, this is a great tool to do this cord cutting. And like I said, sometimes you have to do it a lot. Like, I've had situations in my life in the past too. And oh my God, this is really good for like, past relationships because, when we're intimate with someone, like we really make some deep chords with those people. And even if it's just frivolous intimacy, right? Like if we're just having a good time, but we're creating those connections. They say they make that, what is that comment about, when you're intimate with someone, that when you're sleeping with them, right, that you're sleeping with all their partners and their partners and all this stuff, right? Well, I think that is the case energetically too, right? And so you don't want to have that energy with you. And oh my God, I did a fair amount of that myself, having many different partners in my life in my youth, right? But I went through this one point in this one ritual that I highly recommend that you do because it's good to just get rid of all that old energy, okay? That old energy of you having been with those other people, right? So I took a bath and I visualized cord cutting all that energy, cord cutting every single person that I'd ever been with. And some people had to do like repeatedly, in that one session, just like, cause I could feel it over and over again, them reconnecting, their energy reconnecting. And it's like, if they're thinking about you, you're going to feel that energy. You're going to feel their energy constantly coming up. Right. And that means that cord is still like super active. And so just, continuing to cut that cord and replug it into source and cutting the cord and replugging it into source. And eventually you'll feel that feeling of like, I feel like I'm in the here and now. I feel like I'm totally present and everything's okay. And I'm not thinking about those things anymore. I'm not connected to the past in the same way. And it's like, okay, I can breathe again, and I can be centered and focused. And so, yeah, I just highly recommend you do that. Just, let go of all that old energy and those connections and those things. You just don't need to carry that energy anymore. But like, if you're constantly thinking about the past, if you're really hooked in and you're obsessing about a particular situation or particular person or whatever, cut that cord. Cut that cord. Now, and don't be afraid of cutting that cord too. As long as you're plugging that back into source, don't be afraid, because like, if that's a genuine cord that is meant to be a part of your life, it's going to rebuild, just like if you cut the cord to your partner or whatever, you're going to rebuild it in that hot second anyway, because you're connected to them, right? So like I said, occasionally you want to maybe clean the slate, and occasionally just wipe out all cords so that you can feel like your baseline self again without the cords, just for a millisecond, right? Because those ones are probably going to reconnect pretty quickly. But yeah, just kind of maybe once a month go whoop, and just kind of disconnect them all, and then reconnect, with those fresh like chords and things like that doesn't have that energetic debris of like maybe old like arguments or frustrations or different things, right? And just kind of starting fresh again. But yeah, so that's kind of like the gist of cord cutting. And again, just really make sure that you aren't just leaving those cords hanging. Okay, plug them back up into the universe, into source energy, so that that other person isn't feeling that disconnection of that energy, right? That they feel that they're plugged in. They're just not plugged into you anymore. They're not funneling your energy, trying to know information about you, trying to connect in with you. And that's the thing about cords too, is like, when we're making those cords, that's how we know information about people, right? We make those cords with our kids, right? And then we know how they're doing, how they're feeling, what's going on with them, whatever. We can psychically link with them through those cords. And so with those people, you just don't want to have that psychic link with them anymore, right? You don't want them constantly knowing your business and what's going on with you, and checking in with you energetically. So yeah, when you feel like, whoa, why am I thinking about this person so much? And I don't want to be thinking about this person that much because this is not a healthy relationship for me, then realize that they've probably recreated one of those cords again. And you just cut that cord again and plug it back into source and go about your day, and they'll eventually get it. They'll eventually realize that they're plugged into source, and that that's a good place for being plugged in versus trying to be plugged into you. So, yeah, that's just another aspect of your energetic hygiene and creating good energetic boundaries. So, yeah, I hope this makes some sense. And I hope you enjoy this. And I hope that, yeah, I want you to play with these things, you guys. I really want you to start figuring out this for yourself, to use these tools, because, oh my God, they totally work. They're totally worth doing. And, create that good, energetic hygiene, those energetic boundaries with people in your life that you need to have those boundaries with, and pay attention to and be really aware of your own energy and understand your own energetic baseline and check in with yourself. Okay. So, yeah. Anyway, I would really love it if you enjoyed this, that you share it with other people, because that would be so awesome and they'd benefit. So that'd be great. Anyway, you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking with you in the next episode.